Hi, I'm Alex and today I'll show you how to put up the Safari Stingray. Let's see what's inside. You'll find fly sheet, which is UV resistant, very tough, 3 pegs, whole set of ratchets and straps, some spares with the water gates that we're going to be putting on at the end, bag of poles, and the tent itself, which comes out at about that size. First thing to do is lay the tent out so the corners are facing the 3 trees that we're going to use. And you're going to orientate it so that your door is facing the way that you want it to face as well at this point. So I'm going to choose this tree here for the tail, and then that means the door's going to be opening towards the campfire that we've got going over there. And then we're going to take the straps out. There's going to be 3 straps and 3 ratchets. And first thing we're going to do is put the straps around the trees that we're going to use. So we'll take the loop end and we'll walk it around the tree. And take it to the height that we want. I'm going to bring it to about my waist, and then we'll put the tail through the loop and cinch it tight. Then it's time to put the ratchets on. You'll see the ratchets are 2.5 tons. They've got a loop in the back. They've got a locking mechanism here, which allows them to open up and release the spool, and also allows them to lock into place like that, which I'll show you in a second. But we're going to put one of these on each of the corner D-rings. And it's as simple as putting the loop through the D-ring, and then putting the ratchet through the loop and cinching that up. So in the bag of spares, you'll find 3 rubber water gates. These are really useful if you are entering a period of extended rain, because what can happen is the strap will get completely drenched with water, and because you're in the tent, the water travels along the strap towards the tent, and it can bridge the gap between the strap and the D-ring, entering the seat belt reinforcement on the periphery of the tents. And once that gets saturated, the water will start to ingress into the tent and can get your sleeping bags and stuff wet. So what we'll do on every D-ring, we get a water gate, and we just slip it in over the D-ring like that. Just before we put the ratchet on. Then we get our ratchet. Then we get our ratchet as normal, and we put the loop through the D-ring and the ratchet through the loop. Cinch it up, and no water is going to get to the tent from that. Once all the ratchets are on the corner D-rings, we take the tail of the ratchet strap, feed it through the spool, and then pull it back towards the tree, taking out all the slack before we unlock it. Give it a few pumps just to make sure that the strap takes and bites itself as it comes around the spool. And in that way, we're going to take the Stingray up off the ground. You want to pull it as tight as you can before ratcheting on the last one, because if the spool gets too filled with strap, it won't lock. So I've pulled as much as I can before I start pumping. And now, if you look underneath and you line your eyesight up with the strap should be in line with the black strap, which should then be in line with the seams going to the central hatch. And you want that pretty much in line on every side. And once you've got it nice and tight and in position, you're ready to put the poles in. So these poles are 11mm aluminium poles, and they fit into the pole socket, the pole sleeves, just about 8 inches up from the pole socket at the front of the Stingray on the side of the door. And you just want to push it in until you've got about 2 feet or 80 centimeters still sticking out, and then put the second pole in. At the tail of your Stingray, where the 2 pole sleeves come together, you'll find a zip. Open that zip up, and inside you'll see 2 pole sockets. They're both sewn onto the floor next to each other, and you want to get the pole and fit the left one into the left socket and the right pole into the right socket, and then you can do your zip up. You can just take one of the poles, push it in until it reaches the socket at the front, and then do the same with the other socket, and then you've got your Stingray Safari up. You might find that you've got a whole bunch of strap left over once your tent's up, and just to tidy the site, if you want it to look neat and pretty, you can just take the strap and roll it, and then take the middle of that length, stick it through, and then just make a loop and feed your roll through the loop, and it can all just hang very. So you'll see in the Stingray Safari it's got 3 doors, so everybody has their own entrance, and of course it has the usual toggle and loop, so you can tie the door flaps up and out of the way. The mesh is grade 4, really tough insect mesh. I mean, it's still no-see-um mesh, but this is bomb-proof. Like, it'll be hard to cut this with a knife. The Safari will also come with a bag or 2 that you can hook onto the roof loops for extra storage. So you've got the ability to have some suspended pockets as well. And now we're ready to put the fly sheet on, so we can take that clip off. And I found the tail of the fly sheet, and you'll be able to tell which is the tail. It's where there are 5 seams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 seams. It's where the 5 pieces of fabric come together. So we've come over to the tail, and I've clipped the C-clips onto the handle of the ratchet, and we're just going to plug it in like that. Bang, bang. Pulling this all out, and I'm going to take the far corner with me and pass it over the strap to myself, and then flip the whole thing over the Stingray, walking it across to the far corner, and then do the same thing again. We're going to clip that straight onto the ratchet handle, and then we can walk back and do the last corner in exactly the same way. So now we're going to peg out the fly sheet to make sure that we've got our porch areas and good ventilation around the tent. So I've got 3 of these, 3 pieces of bungee. There are, yeah. What I tend to do is I'll put a loop in each end of my bungees. So there's our length, a loop in each end, and now all we have to do is take one of the pegs, take it onto one, put it onto the hook, pull it out. The way I do it is I put the loop on the floor and I screw into the loop, and that's the last of the wings pegged out. You can see I've done the other 2 over there. Lots of space, lots of ventilation, and that's the Tentsile Stingray Safari.